Welcome back to Strange Bedfellows, a Julian Fellowes fancast. I'm Kirt Graves.
And I'm Stefanie Jochman-Deepak. Today we're discussing Season 1, Episode 6 of Downton Abbey.
It is the penultimate episode of Season 1.
It is, and I thought a lot happened in the previous episode. So much happens in this episode.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Also, I was just discussing with my friends last night the use of penultimate and how so many people don't know how to use it correctly. So I was like, I can't pass up the opportunity to throw it in a podcast here.
Thank you. And thank you for using it correctly. And it's just a great word.
It's a great word. It's a lovely word.
Yeah.
All right. So there is a lot to get into. So let's begin with our 60-second or whatever recap.
All right. Well, this week's episode of Downton Abbey is brought to you by sandwiches. Are you figuratively sandwiched between your sisters and secretly being relegated to caring for your parents in their old age? Pack a picnic sandwich and ask a widower about his late wife while you drive around in his new car. Are you sandwiched between your sunny, wealthy life and a desire to lend your help and concern to the gloomiest causes? Why not get sandwiched between a by-election riot and your socialist chauffeur? Have you received a letter that divides your loyalty between a trustworthy friend in service and the young lady of the house you've always regarded as a daughter? Confess these sandwiched feelings to her mother and see what happens next. Stuck between your daughter's secret and admitting some difficult truths to your mother-in-law? Try an open-faced sandwich. Her reaction might surprise you. Are you the most powerless occupant of a household trapped between the scheming ambition and cruelty of the butler who's leading you on and the sour housemaid he enables? Help the blind cook make a sandwich. Are you the target of those scheming servants' ire, forcing you to reckon with both your past and your future? Embrace your emotional sandwich and almost kiss the lady who loves you, just as you are. And are you the good-hearted footman pining for that powerless kitchen maid trying to make a better life for himself while feeling homesick for your, unbeknownst to you, unwell mother? Grab some of that day-old sandwich bread and soothe your sorrows by soothing the aches and pains of her young ladyship's horse. Finally, did the new heir you thought you loathed just turn into a knight in shining armor for your youngest sister and meet you eyebrow to raised eyebrow in a flirting competition? Well, by all means, feed that man a plate of sandwiches. He might just propose.
He might just. Brilliant. Oh, I love that. An open-faced sandwich. What a wonderful metaphor.
Thank you.
I love it.
This comes from the fact that, like, I had forgotten how much I loved the sandwich, the actual literal sandwich scene in this episode until it arrived.
Yes.
So once it did, I was like, yes, that's the key.
And now I'm kind of craving a sandwich.
That is not what I'm having for lunch, but now I kind of wish it was.
Yeah. I was like, It is, and it is kind of lunchtime as we're recording this.
Yes.
So
yeah,
let's get through this, and then we can have our sandwiches or whatever for lunch.
All right. Sounds great.
So I feel like I always jump in and talk about what struck me. What struck you about the episode?
I mean, what really struck me is the way, like, the Mary Matthew stuff. When I first saw the show, that was my favorite. Did I replay the dinner scene where they really flirt with each other? And then he proposes, which I totally forgot about. Like, he doesn't do it in the scene, it's off screen. So that struck me. But I think since that happens at the end, we can talk a little bit more about it later. I think I love the way that Violet evolves on the Mary issue in this episode. And the fact that we're getting the glimmer of Branson's sort of affection for Sybil in this episode. So, and really the fact that so many people are kind of like having divided loyalties, facing these internal conflicts, like, that's what struck me about this episode.
Yeah. We cover a lot of ground.
Yes.
Just to pick up the thread of what we talked about last episode, though, the one thing about the downstairs storyline about the wine,
yeah,
It did we had trouble distinguishing between them in the last one, and it was like, oh yeah, those were two separate storylines, even though it's like the exact same cast of characters.
Yeah.
Just going at each other in a different way.
That was frustrating to me. And I feel like, I think in an earlier episode, I've alluded to the fact that like we're heading down this path of Bates being just this really pitiable character and just somebody who is constantly facing, some kind of external challenge.
Yeah.
And making it worse for himself by like leaning into this belief that he deserves the worst.
Right.
And as beautiful as Bates and Anna's relationship is, his like solo plots are super frustrating. And I remember that being, my initial watch of the show, just being really frustrated by the way that Bates gets tortured by this show. Right. And so the fact that we get two plot lines of him being accused of theft, or, O'Brien and Thomas trying to accuse him of theft,
right,
is a little frustrating.
It is. And it also, as I'm re-examining the relationship between Anna and Bates, going through this again and thinking in my head the previous times I've watched the series that it's a bit of a mismatch. I think that's also part of why I always struggled to accept that relationship. It's because it's not only that I think she's very pretty and could do better. But it's also like, why would she stick around through all of this? Yeah. It's not that he's done anything wrong to her, but he has a very complicated past.
Yeah.
And life.
Yeah.
As we will come to find out more and more throughout the series. And it just confounds me at a certain point that she sticks with it through all of these barriers. And especially, again, because she's so decent and so kind and so pretty that it's like nobody else wanted to take a crack at Anna, shoot their shot and ask her out, nobody. Yeah. It confounds me still.
Yeah. Well, and we really don't have Bates to the viewer has such a strong moral fiber. Like we see that in action because we see these moments when he confronts Thomas and others and where he sees injustice and reacts to it. So we are a witness to that for him. Yeah. Anna sees a strand of it. I don't know if anybody else does.
Right.
And that's really frustrating because, even Robert's really appreciative of what Bates did for him in the war, though they don't talk about it often, and clearly values something about Bates. But there are plenty of moments when he treats Bates as this kind of mysterious character too. And I don't know if it's an issue of we have to have, Carson has to be the upright citizen downstairs. And so you can't have a rival to that in Bates where we can't ever see that strong character demonstrated as publicly. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it is interesting too, just to think about as the series goes on, there's never any talk of Bates taking over as butler.
No.
It's unthinkable. So interesting. It is interesting to see just the seeds of his complicated past already starting to take root in this episode. And we may as well talk about it since we don't get too much of Anna and Bates specifically outside of this storyline.
Right.
So basically, Bates saw Thomas take some wine. And because of the issue with the snuff box, Thomas is concerned that Bates now will turn him in.
Yes.
Because they seem well aware that Bates is onto them.
Yes.
And so O'Brien, in her scheming wisdom, basically says, well, then you better accuse him of something first. And he's like, well, what can I accuse him of? We already tried to stage this stealing of the snuff box. It didn't work. She's like, well, then you better accuse him of something that's actually been stolen. And Thomas looks at her like, well, what? Like, the wine, you dummy, the thing you've been stealing.
Yeah, put it on him.
Go accuse him of it. So basically he twists the story to Carson, makes it seem like he walked in on Bates taking the wine. They get Daisy to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Although how, I'm still not quite clear if it's just him using his handsomeness.
Yep, because she says to him, like, I'd do anything for you. And he says, oh, really, you would? And then I think we're led to believe there was some offstage scene in which he said, here, I need you to vouch for this story.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then, of course, that winds its way into the upstairs storyline, too, when O'Brien just, mentions in conversation that, like, oh, it is so sad when someone close to you lets you down. How is Lord Grantham doing? And she's like, what? And, of course, separate storyline, she thinks this is all about Mary for a second.
Yeah.
And then O'Brien is like, oh, yeah, Mr. Bates. Well, what did he do? It's not for me to tell, my lady. It's like, girl.
I hate O'Brien so much.
I know. It's delicious, though. Like, I love to hate her.
Yeah.
Also, when talking about O'Brien is the hardest time for me to keep this a PG podcast. Because my natural inclination is to say some words I'm not saying right now.
Well, I appreciate you holding back, but I understand.
Yes. I think we all know which words I would be using.
Yes.
But yeah, it's like, girl, you old so-and-so, you just teed that up to be like, oh.
Well, and
I shouldn't say.
It's fitting that she is messing with Cora in an episode where now the rumors about Mary are coming not from Rosamond and what she's hearing in London, but now it's coming from Lady Flintshire.
Yes.
Who is Shrimpy's wife, right?
Yes.
We'll get to Shrimpy next season. But
is it next season already?
I think next, maybe the season after.
Yeah.
But yeah, she and there's some nice foreshadowing, maybe, who knows, of Lady Flintshire and O'Brien's eventual connection. Feels only fitting that Lady Flintshire is bringing the bad news at the same time that O'Brien is trying to seed lies of bad news.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I do love Violet's characterization of Lady Flintshire.
Yeah.
Because she writes to Violet to tell her about what she's been hearing.
Yes.
About all of this. And of course she hands Cora the letter and it's like 5 pages long. And she says, my poor niece never uses one word when 20 will do. Which is something I've been accused of, so I get it.
I think I probably have too.
And
now I find myself trying to curb that habit.
Right,
Students.
yeah.
Concision.
Exactly. But yeah, O'Brien really likes to stir the pot in so many ways.
Yes.
So I'm just looking at, excuse me, looking at some of my notes here. I do want to go back to the beginning of the episode where it is Sybil and Branson going to somebody just speaking before an election.
Yes.
So we have sort of like a political rally that it's maybe on the verge of becoming violent, but it doesn't get there. We see Isabel enter the situation and be like, you should really go. Let's go. Let's get out of here. I admire that you're interested in politics, but like these things tend to get a bit rough. So let's get you out. And she also pleads for Branson's case to say, like, if you get hurt here, Branson's position will be in danger.
Yes.
Something she seems to swiftly forget. Very good advice. She seems to swiftly forget.
Yeah.
But they talk about, I think it's Branson who says, politicians often can't recognize the changes that are inevitable.
Well said.
Yeah. And boy, oh boy, do we feel that in our current timeline.
Yeah.
They also talk about someone named Emily Davison being crushed to death.
Yes.
And so I wanted to look up who that was.
Oh, thank you.
So she was a suffragette who actually was arrested many times. She was force-fed on 49 occasions. You brought that up in one of the previous episodes where they sort of callously talked about being force-fed.
Yeah.
She went on hunger strike 7 times. And she died after she was hit by King George V's horse at the 1913 Derby when she walked onto the track during the race.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a powerful protest.
Because I was really like, because he talks about some Emily Davison, I think, being crushed to death under like the
King's horse.
The King's horse. And it's like, well, when did that happen? Like, wow. And I was like, well, she walked onto a horse track. So that was clearly meant to be a protest, a big gesture.
Yeah.
And she paid the ultimate price for it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm also really interested in hearing, even at this early stage, Branson's, his sort of dueling views on Robert, on the Earl of Grantham, because he acknowledges he seems a decent man. It's not him I have a problem with. It's the system that props him up.
Yeah.
That I don't like.
Yep. Clever writing on Julian Fellowes' part in that.
Yeah.
Someone who might vie for Sybil's attentions, right? Or someone whose connection to Sybil we might, want to cheer for. We, as a viewer, we want him to be okay with her father, right?
Right.
We don't want him to create issues in the family as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's an interesting political statement as well.
Yeah.
To think about, can you see someone, the real person, inside of the role that they play in society? And I think that's something that we struggle with even more nowadays, because we're so confronted with the persona that people put on in social media. Like it is almost like we are all cast in a role online.
Yep.
And it becomes even more difficult to know the people.
That's a really good point. And I think Branson is practicing some nuance that a lot of us could learn from.
Yeah. Yeah. To a certain degree. I do think there are genuinely some people who are actually awful. And I think the difference between then and now is that we don't have a formal, in the United States, we do not have a formal hierarchy of society. What we have is people who are making themselves a level of wealthy and influential that separates them from the normal people, and you have to be a certain kind of person to acquire that kind of wealth. You have to overlook a lot of really terrible behavior and think that you deserve the wealth more than the people who have made it possible for you. Mm-hmm. So, to a degree, I want to learn something from that lesson. Yeah. Of there are people who work inside the system. That does not mean those people are bad.
Right.
But there are some people who are genuinely bad people who are propping up the system because it benefits them.
Yeah.
There is a difference. So the fact that he can see that and he can be like, I think this is a generally good man. He was born into this role. I see no reason to hold it against him, but I would like the world around him to crash is...
This was an incredibly well-articulated connection point between the then and now and the show and now. Well done.
Well, thank you. Well, I mean, these are the things we think about as we watch TV, right?
Yeah.
Isn't this what we think about? Yeah. And also something I probably wouldn't have thought about 15 years ago when the show came out.
Yeah, that's a good
How
point.
much has changed in 15 years in U.S. politics and the economy to have me looking at this with new eyes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I also just had a note that they used the word brouhaha. That's it.
Love it.
It's the whole note. Love the word brouhaha. Love these old timey words that they use in these episodes.
Yeah. And then in the fallout from Sybil going to this initial meeting that shows up at the beginning of the episode, then you have a dinner with everyone, and Violet is like absolutely shocked. Especially Sybil wants to go canvassing. Violet knows what that is, but can't imagine why Sybil's involved. You don't have an opinion until you get married and your husband tells you what your opinions. Yeah. Ugh. And I don't even think that's probably the case for Violet.
Is it fun for you finally having opinions? Do you enjoy that?
Oh yeah, I've really enjoyed the 2 years of opinions.
I was going to say we're almost exactly 2 years to the day.
Yeah.
From your getting married, so yeah, it must have been real fun these last 2 years.
Oh yeah, I really loved
to foster your husband's opinions finally.
Yes, he's told me all the opinions, and I'm really happy to have them.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that was a good line.
Yeah, Mary's oh granny is all of us in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I should have written down the context for this line.
Okay.
So you're going to have to help me out here.
I wrote a lot down, so go for it.
Next time you want to talk to me like a naughty schoolgirl.
Oh.
Is that Cora to Robert?
It is Cora to Robert because Robert's really angry that Sybil was out at this meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how did she disobey him? Why did she go there? And Cora says, I told Branson to take her.
Yeah.
You know, I told her to go along with him because she had this errand that she wanted to run. I figured, you know, he would look out for her. And so Robert gets mad at her at the table. And
yes.
then in bed, she says, like, next time you want to scold me, don't do it in front of the servants.
I just, the way, the use of the next time you want to talk, the next time you want to talk to me like a naughty schoolgirl, first of all, very different connotations today to a naughty schoolgirl. But also, next time?
Yeah.
No.
No.
That better be the last time you talk to me.
Yes, exactly.
Like a naughty schoolgirl.
In front of the servants or not. You know? Yeah. I think that same conversation then leads to the line that you almost, attributed to the last episode of Edith. She's going to be the one to care for us in our old age.
Yes.
Yeah. Poor Edith. We never seem to talk about her.
Yeah. Don't you worry. She'll give you reason in the future.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for.
Exactly. But speaking of Edith, her relationship with Anthony Strallen is blossoming.
Yes.
So I have to say, I love the way that Julian Fellowes has written Anthony Strallen because he is painfully dull.
Yes.
And I love the way the actor is continuing on as though he's not. Like, it's one of those things, like the way he says some of these lines, especially when they're driving around and he's talking about his wife, and it's like, oh, it's really interesting. Like, okay, yes, this is a lively conversation and there's some back and forth. This is really good. When you stop and you just look at what he said, it's like,
it's not funny.
Oh no. Yeah.
He has the thing like his wife used to say about the Kaiser.
Yeah.
And like he's setting up some really great joke or bit of wit, and it's just like wah wah.
Just a thing she said one time. Like, oh, yeah, she really was wonderfully clever.
Yeah.
I'm glad you thought so. Like, but
yeah. And I mean, he's a very kind and open man. He reminds me, like, if I think about like watching The Crown or watching other shows about the British aristocracy, when you see the aristocrats who are just like really out of it or like so entrenched in the rhythms of their lives that they haven't realized just how dull they are.
Yeah.
That's Sir Anthony Strallen.
Yes. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
But again, love the way it's written and the way it's portrayed, because it almost tricks you into thinking like, oh, I mean, yeah, he's older, but like could be a good fit for Edith. And then you sit back on your like 10th watching like I am now and being like, oh boy, there's really nothing there.
Yeah. And I mean, you see it in Mary when he arrives and she's like, oh, well, at first he comes and she's just saddled Diamond. So she's ready to go for a ride. Right. So she can't go with him. And then when he returns, she's like, oh, I can't go. And he's like, no, I wasn't talking to you.
Yeah.
And just her disdain, like the first invitation, her disdain is so obvious in the pleasant way that she tries to not accept the invitation. And then so much is going on with looks in this episode. So you get Mary's veiled, but not veiled well enough.
Right.
Disdain for Anthony Strallen's invitation. You get Cora's slightly veiled, but not veiled enough, like flat out anger at Mary ruining what could be her last chance at a good match.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Edith's absolutely unveiled desire to go be the one that Strallen focuses on.
Yeah. Oy. It's yeah. We'll probably never talk about Anthony Strallen this much again, but I really did.
I don't know.
That's true.
He has his moments coming up.
That's true. There's a conversation that happens in between the first and second political rally where Sybil goes to Robert for permission this time.
Yes.
To go to Ripon. And she lies and says she's going to a committee meeting when she in fact intends to be there for the election results being read out loud. She also lies to Branson.
Yes.
But she's talking to Robert, and Robert asks her, "Why are all your causes so steeped in gloom?" And I love her response, which is, "Because it's the gloomy things that need our help."
Yes.
What a ray of sunshine Sybil is.
She really is. And this rewatch is making me appreciate her and really seeing her for the engine of change and the compassionate heart that I think I always realized that she was, but I haven't seen just how different she is from everybody else in the family.
Yeah. 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 I forget how we get there, but I believe it's Mary and Matthew talking to each other. I know it's Mary and Matthew talking to each other.
Yeah.
I forget why they're seeing each other. But one or the other says, "If you really like an argument, then we should see more of each other."
I tell you, the last two lines that you quoted are written down right here.
Did you also write down "a proposal fit for a forensics kid"? Because that's what I was like, yes.
Yeah, if you really like an argument, we should see more of each other. It was a great line. Excellent pickup line.
Yes.
Yes.
Some of us do like a good argument.
It's warm in here, Matthew.
Yeah.
It's very warm.
And then we do transition to the scene where Violet has found out everything and confronts Cora about it. And Cora's like, I mean, just the way she says, "How much of it's true?"
And then Cora just says nothing.
Yeah. All of it?
Yeah.
It's like, well, she didn't carry him by herself.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, she didn't, the way she unspools it, like she couldn't carry him by herself. It required other people. That other person was me.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oof.
And shout out to Elizabeth McGovern, because just the way there's shame, there's fear, there's really deep love, there's also kind of a protectiveness for Mary.
Yes.
There's so much happening in that, and she's both fragile and strong as she is sort of delivering this truth to Violet.
Yeah. And it's almost as though the decisions that she made in that moment that were all instinct to help, to protect, have really solidified since that time. And because of how quickly things are moving, I'm guessing this is months later.
Yeah.
That news has finally reached Violet. So she's had time to really calcify in her position of, "I did the right thing. I am protecting my daughter. I will not abandon her. I understand that we have some urgency now to getting Mary hooked up with somebody else.
Yeah.
Because if this were to come out, she will be ruined."
That's all.
Exactly. Do you not see that I am doing everything I can? But the one thing I will not do is disown my daughter.
Yeah.
End of it.
I mean, which is growth, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think the episode when it happened, and rightfully so, the talking to she gave Mary, it felt up in the air as to how she would, how things would fall out between the two of them. But to see her in this moment be like, "No, I'm standing by her. I have made this decision. I'm not letting her go."
Yeah.
That's an exciting bit of growth and a really admirable acceptance.
Yeah. And just to speak to how long things have gone, there is a line in the next scene where Mr. Bates is talking to Anna about the accusation and how he's disappointed that they're even taking it seriously. And he says, "I've been working here 2 years.
Oh, wow.
2 years. So we've moved 2 years from the pilot to this, the 6th episode of season 1.
That's crazy. I had not clocked that.
This watch through, I'm paying more attention to timeline than I ever have before. And it's like, okay. And that's why, again, it's interesting with the Violet Cora of it all to be like, yeah, Cora's really had some time to sit with this.
Yeah.
Because this is not like it happened a couple weeks ago. Like, time is moving on a pace. So
yeah,
we're moving. We get to learn more about William.
Yeah. So this is maybe the first episode that gives us some more information about William beyond him feeling kind of lovelorn towards Daisy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Mary goes for that ride on Diamond, which could have just been a throwaway line, but it actually develops the storyline with William where Diamond gets hurt and she runs into William as she's walking Diamond back to the stables, and he offers to take a look at the horse because he helped with the horses on his father's farm and so knows quite a good deal about them. He asks for a poultice for the horse. And in the midst of his helping with the horses, it comes to Mary's attention through Isabel that William's mother is sick. They've been tending to her at the hospital. She's been insistent that nobody tell William because she seems just very, very proud of the position he's earned for himself at Downton. They make some line like she makes it seem like he's in a much grander position than he might be.
Right.
She's just really proud. She doesn't want to distract him from the job. And Isabel is thinking like a nurse and thinking like HIPAA before HIPAA was a thing.
Right.
Right. Where, the patient has expressed that we don't say anything. So I think we need to honor that. And Mary, meanwhile, is like, that's wrong.
Yeah. And you wonder how much of that is Isabel knowing who the right person to talk to was.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Like who can find the middle ground here. And so eventually, I'm
just wondering, like, this is the situation I'm in. It happens to be about somebody and here are all the details, but should we say something? And then when Cora says no, she's like, you're right, I was thinking we shouldn't say something either.
Eyes.
Giving the eyes to Mary to be like, So maybe that was her scheming in her own little way.
Yeah, and Isabel is that wise and that savvy. She knows what she's doing. So here we get this really beautiful moment where Mary, I feel like I've named a number of really beautiful moments in this series.
Well, there's many beautiful moments.
Yeah, but she does find a way of encouraging William to go home to see his mother without revealing all the information that Isabel shared about her health, but just getting William to go there and to see her because she knows this could be the last time that he does. Yeah. And how human and how kind she is to William shows us this whole other side of Mary.
Mm-hmm. And when she's willing to break the rules for someone else.
Yeah.
Like she is not just someone who will bend or break the rules to her own benefit.
Right.
She sees someone else being held back by rules that she thinks don't make sense. And so she jumps right in and fixes it.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe in her insistence, of William getting to see his mother, we see some love for her own mother coming through. And this notion of if I had been separated, if I hadn't had this opportunity, how would I feel? Mm-hmm. And so she gives him that opportunity. I think it's maybe also a reflection of here's Mary when Mary's cared for. Here's the version of Mary you get when she's in love.
Yeah.
Or maybe not in love, but at least like, feeling honored and valued and appreciated the way that she wants to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I think too that she can probably relate to his sense of duty, sense of honor, that he is living this life he clearly does not want, but it is because it's the life his mother wants for him.
Yep.
Like he's pretty unabashed about saying like, I would rather be on the farm, or I would love to be working with horses. Well, why don't you? Well, my mother wants me to be a footman. Like,
yeah.
That sense of like we do things for our family, we do things for those who have come before us and who raised us is something I think she probably understands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that scene in particular really made me appreciate the upstairs downstairs format of this and other shows, because sometimes really the most moving, touching moments happen in between someone from each station.
Yeah.
And when they can find the common humanity, when those walls get broken down and they can just be humans together in a moment, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what keeps us coming back, is that humanity, those human moments.
Yeah. Yeah. Mrs. Patmore continues to be very human.
Yeah.
Being very mean to Daisy.
Yeah.
And I have to applaud the execution of this, both in the writing and the directing and the performances, because I'm laughing. I'm laughing as she's saying these horrible things to Daisy.
I know.
It just rides the line so perfectly of like, in the context of the show, it still makes sense that people would be like, oh, that poor girl. But I, as the audience, am like, this is kind of funny. Like, she's really going at her, like, you know?
Well, and it's interesting too that to most people, Daisy is still like that poor girl, as opposed to Daisy. You know,
right?
She has such a position in the household that she's less of a named figure than she is just like this target of Mrs. Patmore's abuse.
Yes, yeah, and O'Brien and Thomas. Yeah. Like, they're trying to take advantage of her too, but she finds in herself the courage to tell the truth, which I think is, and I think she says, I should have written it down. I think she says, I think I've let myself down.
Yeah. And
which is such a beautiful framing of like
that situation. And I like that it's Mrs. Patmore, because she says to Mrs. Patmore, right? Like, while they're having a conversation, that, you're getting this mother-daughter, mentor-mentee relationship being established between the two of them.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have a lovely line from Mrs. Hughes, one of my favorite. I would put it on a t-shirt if we ever do that. If there's one thing I hate, it's an atmosphere.
Yes! Oh, thank you for remembering that, because I like
if there's one thing I hate, it's an atmosphere.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yep. And there is an atmosphere happening.
There is an atmosphere. Oh boy, is there.
Yeah.
And we do finally learn, at least Anna does, a little bit more about Bates' past. Yeah. So she confronts him about like, dude, why aren't we smashing? And he's like, I can't. I already done been smashed. And then she's like, do you mean you're married? He's like, yeah, I am.
Yeah, I think he confessed that in the previous episode, but this time he's saying like, I'm a thief and a drunkard.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Here again is why these two plots, like, why?
Yeah.
Pick one or the other.
Pick one or the other. They both happen. Oh yeah, because this is the confession in front of Carson and Mrs. Hughes, and for some reason Anna is also there.
Yeah.
Just to yell at O'Brien, I think.
Probably. Oh yeah, because she does. She's like, you little. I can't remember what insult she gives, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we do learn that he has gone to jail. He has been convicted as a thief. Yeah. And Carson does not dismiss him outright. Carson says, I'm going to let Lord Grantham know, and he will make the decision. And in the meantime, continue in your post.
Yeah.
So.
But his future seems uncertain.
Mm-hmm. And how quickly we go from like a couple scenes earlier from him being like, I've been here for 2 years and they're still accusing me of this, as though they have no idea of the character of the man that I am. And then a couple of scenes later, he's saying, actually, you don't have any idea of the character of the man that I am. The reason why I was so afraid you would take this seriously is that it's because I've done it before.
Yeah.
And that if you were to look into my past, you would learn that I am a thief. So, very interesting.
And so the episode, like the last quarter then, is devoted to Sybil lying to Branson, getting him to take her to another political rally. This time, not Isabel, but Matthew runs into them. He's on his way home from work, and it turns riotous, and Sybil gets thrown to the ground, and she's injured. And so
I think she hits her head on a table or a chair or a bench or something. Okay. There's always something. Whenever somebody falls down in one of these things, there has to be something for them to hit their head on.
Yes. So, and then there's blood.
Yep.
Right. So Matthew and Branson have to rush her back, and Branson is, realizing his goose may be cooked as a result of this incident. But Matthew kind of plays knight in shining armor, and he then brings Mary into the situation. Is like, how do we get Sybil out of this? Mary will know what to do. Isabel's trying to nurse Sybil as best as she can at Crawley House. And Mary is telling Sybil, you're going to have to vouch for Branson. You're really going to have to stand up for him, because she recognizes how he might be threatened. And so bringing Sybil back to Downton, trying to iron out the whole situation and, take the blame away from Branson. It's enough to make a man hungry. So
yeah, he missed dinner.
Yeah, he missed dinner. So Mary's ordered him some sandwiches.
Yes, and we've come back to the sandwiches.
Yes, and so you get just, oh my gosh, the sparks. Oh, the scene is just so delicious.
Yes,
and they do ask each other, like, "Are you political?" Which in that moment I was like, man, the privilege of being apolitical, to ask someone, have you decided to be political?
And yet how surprising it is that Mary's answer is that, yes, I pay attention. I'm not flaunting it like Sybil, but I know what's going on. I have my thoughts and opinions.
Yeah. And she has thoughts and opinions about all sorts of things. And then she asks Matthew, are you a creature of duty? Do you like me because it's conforming to the fitness of things?
Yeah.
Which is a great way of asking, how are you really feeling?
Much better than like sliding a note across the desk. Do you like me? Check yes or no.
Are you conforming to the fitness of things?
Yes. Check yes or no.
And then, and she, puts out there, well, maybe Sybil has a crush on you. You'll have to be careful with her heart. And it's sort of a test, like, are you into my sister? Is it still me? And he gives her the line, don't play with me. And she says, you have to learn, pay no attention to the things I say. And so after that line, of course, we get action.
Yes.
Right? Which is the kiss.
Yes. Yes. And it as you mentioned earlier, it's so interesting that we do not see the proposal happen. Yeah. We see her go upstairs to Cora, give her parents a little bit of grief for sleeping in the same bed together. And then to say, like, Matthew proposed. Yeah.
After her mother asks, I hope you thanked Matthew properly, to which I'm like, oh, she did.
Oh, boy, did she. Yeah. But not like Mr. Pamuk, okay? Like,
different kind of thinking.
Different kind of thinking. But oh boy, did she. But she will not accept the proposal without telling him the truth about Mr. Pamuk. Yeah. Or so she says.
Yeah. And this is something Cora battles with in an absolutely gorgeous lilac solarium outfit. Yes. It's divine. And the Dowager comes to see her, and here's where the Dowager has decided, Cora, you did the right thing. And she has this rare moment of expressing admiration. I don't know if I'd have the strength, but I would have done.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah. That she recognizes, like, oh, you're in it to make this family survive just as much as I am. And so,
the lengths you will go to.
Yeah. So well done, you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, was it this episode, or I think it's this episode. I think it's during that conversation that Violet says that Mary has the trump card. She's family. Like, so things that I would condemn in anyone else, I will protect Mary for. Yeah.
And then when Cora reveals to the Dowager that Mary is going to tell Matthew about the situation, you get a whole bunch of golden lines. Like, Mary's read too many novels. Yep. So she feels she must be truthful. You also have the Dowager saying, well, we can't have anybody at the embassy assassinated, I suppose.
Of course we can't.
Yeah. So we'll just have to deal with this. Yeah. Then the Dowager also says, everyone goes down the aisle with half the story told.
Yes. Yes.
And finally, and if he didn't accept her, you can always find an Italian
Yes.
who isn't too picky.
Isn't too picky.
Just like line after line after line after line.
And then just how much that's a plan of action for them. Okay, so if Matthew doesn't accept her, we'll head to the Italian coast. Off to Amalfi we go.
Off to Rome after the grouse.
Oh, Rome, yeah. They're going
she
to Rome
refers
after
to
the grouse.
after the grouse season, as one normally plans.
Yes.
I'm going here after the grouse.
Which, hey, I mean, worse things could happen.
Yeah. And
those
so
Italians, they can be worth it, You've got a lot of Italian in you, don't you?
I'm a quarter. Yeah. So, and they Fellowes likes to make a joke on an Italian.
Yeah.
Or maybe he recognizes that, like, at this point in history with this particular group, they can be the butt of a joke.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was season 1, episode 6. So many fun things to talk about.
Yes, so much. And so that brings us, as we wrap up the episode, to our next trivia question.
Yeah.
Every episode, one of us is challenging the other with a trivia question related to a Julian Fellowes property we were discussing. Could be about an actor, the production, the time period in which the story is set. The possibilities are endless. So first, let's take a listen to my answer to Kirt's question from last week.
So speaking of that envelope.
Ooh, okay.
Speaking of that envelope, the final line in that address is London, SW.
Oh. Okay.
So the SW, Southwestern Postcode Area, also known as the London Southwest Postcard Area, is a group of 20 postcode districts within the London Post town in England. The area comprises the Southwestern Operational District and the Battersea Operational District, and is the only area within the London Post town to lie on both sides of what river?
Oh, you're very good at writing these. That would be the Thames.
That would be the Thames. Congratulations. You got it right.
Very good. And listeners, did you get it right? Follow us on Instagram at Strange Bedfellows. That's Fellows with an ES, where we will post the trivia question and answer each week, and you can play along with us.
And apologies for it being basically a geography question, a subject I am horrible at.
It is a Trivial Pursuit. It is one of the pie pieces I avoid when possible.
Yes.
But it was a well-crafted question. This week, I have a question for Kirt. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So we highlighted the great work of Elizabeth McGovern in this episode. And during this rewatch, I can't help but think about how when the show first came on and I learned about her casting, I thought it was really ironic and appropriate given one of her first roles in another period film. In which 1981 movie, which is now enjoying a revival of its musical adaptation, did Elizabeth McGovern play a woman ensconced in scandal, swinging between loyalties? Name the film, and bonus points if you can name her role in it. Well, tune in next episode to find out if Kirt got this question right. If you think you know the answer, find this week's question over on Instagram and put your answer in the comments.
This has been another episode of Strange Bedfellows. You've heard our thoughts, and now we want to hear yours.
The best way to get in touch with us is on Instagram. Again, that's at Strange Bedfellows with an ES in Fellows, or email us at strangebedfellows@gmail.com. You can also find our personal social media links in the show notes.
And if you would be so kind, please rate and review the show wherever you're listening to us right now, and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. This has been a wonderful time. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
And we're off to have some sandwiches.
Yes, literally. Here I go.